Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode number 4, How Change Teaches You Fear Control of the Stories About Fear podcast. I could not be more excited than to be with you here live on YouTube as well, where my friends can see a glimpse of my new office. And this is the reason why I decided to talk about change this week. Our bi monthly podcast is created for you so that you can understand that fear is a matter of perception and you can learn how to keep it under your control at all times because your mind is negative by default. Now, this is neither good or bad. It is how it is, as your mind is solely designed to protect you. It does not support change. And me using these three words that seem very different from one another, fear, control, change, is going to give you the necessary tools so that you can start to see fear and use fear to your advantage. Now, we cannot get rid of fear, and if you have been following my work for a while, you know that fear has both a very positive, amazing, growing side and another side that is not so beneficial for you unless you take charge, unless you take full control. Now, let's see what is change and how you can use it to your advantage. And moreover, I want you to know that fear can be a very fun adventure as long as you know how to train your mind and keep it under your control. Maybe this could be the reason why I always smile when I talk about fear. It could be. This means that you would need to come and join me live on YouTube to see me record this bi monthly podcast. Now, what is change? Change does not come natural. Change is an interruption in your pattern. It is a paradigm shift, as Bob Proctor calls it. And I love this so much because every time you shift something, you make a new move, it means that you make one step ahead regarding your personal development. It means that your mind is ready for another level of thinking. This is how you get to evolve and to become the best version of yourself, a fear free version, an improved version that you need to keep working on each and every single day for the best results. Why do I say that change doesn't come easy? Why doesn't come natural? Because it pushes you out of your comfort zone, out of that wonderful, beautiful, warm feeling of feeling safe, of feeling that you are completely under control of everything that is happening around you. And this sounds wonderful, right? This is what we would mostly want, right? Now, we do want this. However, when we seem to be too comfortable, we are not growing anymore. And I have heard a lot of people saying that it is important that you feel as comfortable as you would be in the comfort zone, but while going through some more new steps and actually being uncomfortable. And What a paradigm, what a strong antithesis is this, right? You get to be into some very strong opposite concepts, and this is how you get conflict in your mind. Now, when your mind is in conflict, this is a time of confusion. This is where you feel that your thoughts are dizzy and that your mind cannot take another second unless it has answers. I have come to discover that our mind continually seeks answers to everything that is happening around it. And all of the thoughts that you keep running in your mind, unless you begin to question them, unless you start to understand that you need to get into some serious discussion with your thoughts and know that even if they are in your mind, it doesn't mean that they define you in any way. It doesn't mean that these thoughts are yours. Because how many times has it happened that you were maybe a child or a young adult? You have heard some people talking about finances, for example, about business, about moving into a new part of their lives. And you would see them very agitated. You would see them maybe frightened of the new that is yet to come. And somehow your subconscious mind may have detected those feelings, those thoughts, as if they were yours. But you were only a participant, an observer, not even a participant in that talk. This is how strong your mind works. And this is fortunate because when you learn to see that these thoughts can be completely kept under your control, you will not need to give your mind this extra task that I have been telling you about, the one that makes your mind continually to seek for answers. Now, it's also unfortunate that your mind, that our mind attracts everything and gets everything sucked into it like this strong sponge, like a microphone, and you get to be very confused unless you know that your thoughts can be completely shifted. Now, this change does not come natural also because it may mean that you are not safe anymore. And as we talked about this even today, even a few minutes ago, your mind wants to keep you safe, and that's it. It does not support anything that has to do with your dreams, with your goals, not at first, until you try to train it. And then, after trying, you will train it, and then you will conquer your mind, you will conquer your fears completely. And is it maybe safe to say that your mind equals fear? Yes, it does. As strong and as strange as this may seem, you get to be completely under its control unless you start to make a very strong decision and start to focus on what is it that you want to get. Now, before I go into the steps, what are the steps that help you change? I want to give you an amazing example of a wonderful friend of mine that was my coaching client last year in July. A very young, strong, motivated person that is maybe in the 1% of the world that before he was 24 years old, he had tried and he had succeeded in almost all of his endeavors, all of his objectives regarding trading, regarding building financial freedom and having passive income at this very young age. He is such an inspiration to me, and he began a sport, a very strong, rather difficult sport that would train every single muscle in his body by doing just one move, and this is called the dumbbell, if I am not mistaken. And he wanted to achieve very high performance with this sport. And I was extremely inspired and very, very impressed that he would test and he would go so far to make sure that all his limits are achieved, that he would complete everything by the second. He would make sure that each and every single movement is so perfect and everything is aligning together in such a way that it was simply mind blowing. And of course, he wanted to push this even more, and he wanted to get some answers and check whether his behavior is well formed enough so that he can achieve the highest success in this sport. And you may be wondering now, wow, how lucky are you to have such an amazing client for coaching, right? Yes, and I do feel fortunate for him trusting me so much. So to have my advice and my NLP consultancy with his endeavors. And as we discovered, which was his very clear objective, we did not find any impediment, any negative thought, nothing that would keep him from achieving what he wanted. And you know what? He was a bit disappointed because he was expecting, he wanted to do some changes, some new changes, even though he had been continually and completely changing all of his actions to get to where he was at that point. He still wanted more. And as I told him, look, I want you to continue with everything that you are doing so far. Your mind is in an amazing mindset. You are going to conquer this without any effort. Do this, continue, and let me know if anything comes to your mind that you think that would keep you from achieving your goal. And it's been quite some months since July. He has not told me yet of any impediment, anything else to change. So this is really important for you to remember. Know that you need a very clear goal. Do not start changing things in your life. Do not start looking for fears. I have been talking about this even last year in December in one of my live sessions on social media, because if you don't have an exact trajectory, a very clear path, a very clear road to where you are going, towards where you are going, it is pointless to start giving your mind some new directions, because unless you give it some clear instructions and you give your change meaning, it's not going to happen. It's going to be a sabotage right from the very beginning. Now, I know that me telling you this has given you some new thoughts and is maybe getting some new questions in your mind, which is wonderful, because I want you to continually question yourself, doubt your old patterns, doubt your old thoughts, because you can never get ahead, you can never evolve by doing the same thing that you have been doing so far, right? If you are in a situation when where you fear that you are not going to do anything that you have set your mindset to, it means that you do not have a clear path. You do not have a clear goal, a purpose for your life. And do you know what? It doesn't need to be something major. It doesn't need to be something too big that it scares you so much, even though it's important to know that you need to have your dreams very big so that you get this very strong drive. However, if you feel overwhelmed, then it's maybe time to sometimes take one step back, relax, breathe, and redesign, reorganize your schedule. Now, how do you change? The first question to ask yourself is, who am I? Who am I? This is a very difficult question. If you ask one person on the street, they are going to give you a very elaborate and complex answer, and the core would be missing because it is so much diversity in who we are as a being, who we are as a spiritual being, and who we are as a material being as well. There are so many concepts that us humans have gotten into discovering, that maybe one person in a million would tell you an answer that is simple and that also defines who they are authentically. I'm telling you this because I don't want you to get discouraged unless you get a very clear answer of who you are. I want you to also know that you are who you decide that you want to be. Nothing that has happened in the past is defining you, not at all. What a relieving thought, isn't it? And I want you to also know that you need to be as compassionate and as kind with yourself as possible, because you are doing the very best that you can. And I know that you are doing this because you are here listening to me, a podcast about mindset and about how to control your fears. And I know that you have had a long way until where you got to this point, because I myself have had a very long path, a rather challenging at times path, but here I am, alive and kicking, and so are you. So are you. You are going to achieve and you are going to conquer everything that you set your mind to, because you are even stronger than you think. Now, the second question I want you to ask yourself, the first question was, who am I? The second question, and I only have two questions for you. This is a rather easy task, an easy episode with an easy exercise today. Where am I going? This is the second question. Where am I going? Do I want to start my own business? Do I want to quit the professional endeavors I am in right now, because maybe my business partners, my managers do not represent the values, my core values. They are not who I want to be represented by. Or maybe I want to quit a relationship that is toxic for too long and I have settled for far too long. Or maybe I want to completely change the way that my body looks. I want to be healthy. I want to be vibrant. I want to have this strong energy. And I simply want to become the best version of myself. You name it. Maybe you want to live a fear free life. You know which are your strongest desires. So answer to yourself to these two questions: who am I and where am I going? In order to train your mind so that change comes naturally. Once you understand that change is the only way to evolve, to move ahead, your mind that actually talks to you like a worried mother is going to understand that you are mature enough, that you have grown so much so that you are now in control, that you are safe, and of course that you are trustworthy. What better, what more wonderful sensation you will have when both your heart, your spiritual side is going to be completely aligned with your mind, because this secret of success is a very fine line between who you are rationally and who you are emotionally. It is the path halfway between your heart and your mind. And how do you achieve this success? Well, to me, success means a fear free life. It means to have my mind under my control so that I can enjoy every single step of this amazing, beautiful life without any worries, without being in the past, stuck in a past that is already done, dead, that you cannot change anymore, and not to be in a future that is not yet happening. I want to live my life now, here in the present moment, where the energy is, where everything vibrates, where you can love with passion both who you are, love your life, and love the wonderful people you have around you. What does success mean to you? And each and every one of us has a different definition of success, and there are no right and there are no wrong definitions. You know best what is the best way to live your life. And if you ask me, when you know where you are going, when you have a goal that is bigger than yourself, when you have a mission, it means that any obstacle that arises in front of you can be very easily put completely aside so that you can have a very lean, wonderful, beautiful, stress free, and fear free path ahead. Building your life is not easy. Making sure that you take the right decisions at first is not easy. Knowing that there is a lot to implement every single day and that you need to train your mind and your mindset and your thoughts every day, again, is not easy. But I want you to know that good things do not necessarily take a long time unless you are completely decided. You know, if you decide to 100% commit to improving your mindset, to keeping your thoughts continually questioned, then you get change coming naturally and you start to make every new step with so much ease that the people around you are going to ask you, wow, are you ever going to stop? And of course, your answer is going to be no. I also want to encourage you to visit my website in case you want another great tool besides our wonderful talk that we had today about change and what is it and how to control it. I have written this wonderful book, and yes, I am not modest at all when it comes to the 7-step guide to permanently conquer your fears. You can find it on my website, roxanapopet.com. I have created this amazing, unbelievable, easy to put in practice exercise, and I call it the bag visualizing exercise. That is a very concrete tool that you can use now, right now, on the spot, anywhere you are in this world. You get to have your emotions, your thoughts, your patterns, and your limiting beliefs, anything that you no longer want to have in your system, put in a bag, and that's it. You get rid of them. It's that easy. And what does this tell us? It is a metaphor that as your mind is not material, it is even more easy to deal with. Let's make a small comparison, maybe a small joke, a short joke, that maybe your mind would be material and be like a sponge. Now, you know how sponges are, that they suck everything around them. You get millions of particles of dust. I know it's maybe not the best. Visual image, but bear with me. And then you try to get each and every small particle of dust out of this sponge. And this is what would happen to your mind if you start to get it clean, to maybe have your cleanse done once a day. But let us imagine that we have this very strong vacuum cleaner, the most performant, the most amazing vacuum cleaner you can ever imagine that you saw. And its power to suck that dust, to get out that dirt out of that sponge, is so strong that if you have it close to the sponge, if you have it close to your mind, it's going to take out everything in a matter of 1, 2, 3 seconds, and that's it. This is how your mind works. You deciding that you want to get rid of all of the negative situations that are running in the background of your mind. When you decide that you no longer want to have them there, simply get a vacuum cleaner, which is your commitment to yourself. Now, I have made this comparison so that you understand that you can get amazing results only if you decide. Deciding to get your mind cleansed is by far the best decision of your life. And I am here to make it happen for you. I am more than thrilled to support you with my services as a coach, as a trainer in NLP, and as a speaker. And I am very eager to see you and to get your wonderful messages after you have implemented my suggestions from today. I wish you an amazing week ahead, and I will see you very, very soon.